I'm going to move the conversation to Debaleena, who's the founder of the STEM-Away program and the person who initiated all these opportunities for everyone during the pandemic. So Debaleena, do you have a few words to say for everyone?
Absolutely. But first of all, thank you, Corinne, and thank you, Saad. It was my pleasure to get to know quite a few remarkable students from NYU this summer. In fact, working with students is the highlight for me for STEM-Away. So my life as founder of STEM-Away is very different from my previous life. My background is in tech. I was a hardware engineer at Intel. My passion is for zeros and ones, data patterns, and I hold several patents related to microprocessors. But coming back to STEM-Away, the STEM-Away Virtual Internship Program is a very unique program in terms of both project content as well as project structure. So in the project content, the material is very, very challenging, but the unique part is that we let students do the entire project from project definition all the way to the project analysis. So this is different from if you were holding an internship or even an entry-level job where you tend to be a cog in the wheel for a while. And the best way to understand what I'm just saying is to hear from the students who were there in the past session. So today, students will present the machine learning pathway as well as UX UI. And the UX UI is part entrepreneurship, part UX UI. This summer, we also had bioinformatics and full stack. And currently, we are adding AWS DevOps and hardware engineering FPGA. So many challenging pathways coming up, very, very interesting pathways coming up, new ones as well. The best way to learn about these programs is we have currently pathway hubs ongoing on the platform. So these are mentor-led programs where we're just giving students a chance to get trained for the upcoming virtual internship sessions. And if you go onto the platform and join these pathway hubs, you'll get to learn much more about each of these pathways. So coming back to the project structure, it's just like a mentor chain. It's literally a mentor chain. So we have industry mentors mentoring the leads. We had some excellent leads from NYU, and they in turn were leading student teams. And by doing this, we are able to provide the opportunities at scale. And by being in a lead position, you're building, students are getting this chance to build leadership skills, mentoring skills. And this is what will really help you in your careers, not just getting that first job. We are a full-scale career hub. So there's a hiring portal that is attached to the virtual internship program, which is going live early next summer. But STEM-Away is really not just about your job, but about your career. And what we want from our students is we want to give our students the chance to really get satisfaction from the career they choose. Over to you, Saad.
Perfect. Thank you so much for explaining the program, Debaleena. And we'll see along the course of the presentations how everything she said is reflected in our work as well, how we took the lead, how we took the initiative to finish our projects. And now we're going to move towards our guest, Mr. Prateek Sarkar, who's an ML engineer at Google currently. He works on how people comprehend visual content and works in helping the world's visual information be transcribed into a way where people can use it all across the world and be universally accessible. He currently lives in Bay Area, and according to him, he lives with his wife and moderately cute children. I did not use those words. So we're gonna, Prateek, do you have a few things to say for us?
Thank you so much for having me here. The very first time that Debaleena talked to me about this idea that I really want to do something to enable people to learn what STEM is really about, and to essentially have this mentoring be part of their training automatically. Her vision and her, I should say, her sort of quiet conviction is really inspiring. So I'm really happy to be here. I look forward to hearing about everything that you have to say. Let me sort of share a few things that I wrote down today. I hope that this is going to be something that all of you share, because you are all in STEM. So I wanted to talk about why I am in STEM. So the short answer is because that is a bucket people put me in. That is why I'm in STEM. And let me elaborate a little more why I say that. What did I get? What did I do to get to STEM? It was very simple, actually. I just found fun in elegantly posed puzzles and problems. That is how I got to STEM. And I'll go through some examples. Maybe you'll remember some of these from your own school and college days. You must have heard the story of this teacher who wanted to take a break or take a nap and asked the students to add up all the numbers from 1 to 1,000 or 1 to 100. Different stories go different way. All the students started getting busy at work. One guy stared at the problem for a little while, saw that he could just reverse the sequence and then form these groups that gave him 1,001s. And there, voila, he had the answer. This is so beautiful, so elegant. This is the kind of thing that got me into what we think of as STEM. Here's another example. This is in physics, where we are trying to model phenomena in the real world. And this actually is to some extent attributed to the same guy who found that solution, Carl Friedrich Gauss. So there's this Gauss law for gravity and gravitational fields. But let me tell you the problem. So suppose you are in a planet, not on a planet, inside a planet, a hollow planet. So this is a perfectly spherical planet. Look at how the posing of the problem is making simplifying assumptions to make the problem approachable. I have to tell you a little bit about what I do now. I've been telling you about all kinds of fun that I've had throughout my life. I work in Google image search. So in image search, if you search for, say, a flower vase, we give you lots of beautiful pictures of flower vases. You can scroll through these, look at these beautiful pictures. Our goal, our mission is to make the world's information, visual information, universally accessible to all and make it visually navigable. What does that mean? Out of all of these results, if you clicked on one particular result, that is the first visual cue that we have about what you might be interested in. And we have this feature called related images. If you're not familiar with this, you can give it a try. And if you find bugs, please do file bugs. There's a button right on top, and we actually have people who scour through bugs filed by users. But our objective is to give you a chance to navigate through this world visually. You didn't have to know what kind of terms to use to describe this middle image. But when you liked it, we can show you other images like that. Perhaps you'll even learn what kind of a flower vase that is by just exploring. So the last important point is the ability to take a complex problem and simplify it and to find a structure of a solution. And that is where the role of a mentor comes in. As I progressed through my career, I faced more and more difficult, open-ended problems, not well-defined, neat problems that I could apply laws to. But it was now my job to try and find discipline in there, simplifying assumptions in there to make the problems tractable. So why I'm in STEM? Because that's the bucket my work fits in. I would have taken these life learnings. I actually do take these life learnings everywhere. Even when I practice music, I apply these same things. That is just part of who I am. But my STEM employer finds value in my bringing these traits to problem solving. That's why I'm in STEM. So that's what I wanted to say to you, and I'm really look forward to hearing about all of the lovely work that you have been doing. I got a little bit of a glimpse, a couple of minutes worth of glimpse from Debaleena, but I really look forward to hearing about what you have been working on.
Thank you so much for that, Prateek. That was amazing to hear your journey and why you've been in STEM. And I feel like most people who are on this meeting would have similar things to say why they found themselves in STEM fields or in STEM positions or in internships like that. And I think it's communal, the love for problem solving within the STEM field and the STEM disciplines. So now we're gonna move into the modeling approaches and how we evaluated these models. So when I was given the problem statement, we really went back, did some research, me and the technical lead, along with our team as well, on what the tagging problem is outside of the scope of our project as well. And we found out it's still very open-ended, with people coming up with new and creative solutions every day, you know. So me and my tech lead, we thought it best to make our own solution for our problem instead of taking somebody else's solution. So we sat down and we thought about it. And once we had reduced the tags from 480 to 25, we thought it was best to make it a multi-label classification problem. Moving forward, we're going to move into project execution, and my wonderful teammate Huen's going to take it away from here.
Thanks, Saad. Okay, so the first thing we needed for the project was to actually get some data which we can train our models on. So as a group, we chose to scrape our data from the Stack Exchange forum. This decision was made from a few considerations of factors. So first of all, Stack Exchange is a very widely used forum. It has a large user database with various posts in a large number of categories, which are very relevant to the STEM-Away forum.
So now that we had built the backend model, and in order to scale it for any real world application like LinkedIn or any forum that has a huge number of posts, it is not always possible from our end in order to throw a recommender and to predict for unknown category post as well.
I really consider myself to be the part of this STEM-Away internship program because I got to learn a lot of things. Talking something about design thinking process, so it consists of basically 5 major steps: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test.
I was a user experience lead as well, along with her for another team. But at the same time, some of the leads were also working on another project at STEM-Away. So here are 4 of us. It's me, Anthony, it's Fiona, and Pooja. 4 of us were working on creating the user interface of a corporate dashboard for STEM-Away.
Sometimes they're not very exciting. The fact that you have to document and the fact that you have to interact with all of these people who don't think like you, it's sometimes very taxing, right? You wish that people would just think like you, but then to realize the strength in all of these things later on, that's definitely been one of the learnings of my professional life.